If you're a Christian and you say, well, I can choose not to have an abortion, but I have no say in someone else, then you're not really a Christian, because you're called to stand up for the weak. You're called to stand up for the vulnerable. You're called to stand up for people who are made in God's image. So you're not actually being a Christian.
The true Christian thing to do would be to defend those people who want to live their own lives and worship God in their own way. If their right to worship is based on
an
that.
act of worshiping God?
No, I'm saying that as a Christian, I should allow other people to live and encourage them firstly to be a Christian.
You need to go back and read the New Testament.
No, you need to go back and read, because you're not being Christian.
Where in the New Testament does it say that an innocent baby...
Where is the love that you're supposed to be addressing me with as a Christian?
Where does it say?
Why are you screaming at me? This is supposed to be respectful.
I get really angry at people who say that they're Christians, but then
you're acting unchristian.
That then say that these children who are made in the image of God, if you want to get metaphysical, should be allowed to be violently ended.
Hello everyone, I have this video from Kristan where she's approached by this liberal, and the way things develop and wrap up is shocking. I'll be sharing my perspective as we watch. Let's dive into it.
I feel like it's unconstitutional and un-American to limit someone because we have the right to those religious beliefs. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what I believe. Like, I have my own Christian beliefs and I can choose not to have an abortion. But if someone wants one, they're going to get one.
You're not hearing... Okay, so if you're a Christian, and we're going to go religious. I haven't been going religious, but we can go religious. If you're a Christian and you say, well, I can choose not to have an abortion, but I have no say in someone else, then you're not really a Christian, because you're called to stand up for the weak. You're called to stand up for the vulnerable. You're called to stand up for people who are made in God's image. So you're not actually being a Christian.
The true Christian thing to do would be to defend those people who want to live their own lives and worship God in their own way. If their right to worship is based on that. So you're saying abortion is an act of worshiping God? No, I'm saying that as a Christian, I should allow other people to live and encourage them firstly to be a Christian.
You need to go back and read the New Testament.
No, you need to go back and read, because you're not being Christian.
Where in the New Testament does it say that an innocent baby...
Where is the love that you're supposed to be addressing me with as a Christian?
Where does it say?
Why are you screaming at me? This is supposed to be respectful.
I get really angry at people who say that they're Christians, but then
you're acting unchristian.
That then say that these children who are made in the image of God, if you want to get metaphysical, should be allowed to be violently ended. So I'm sorry if I'm acting unchristian to you. If I can turn over this table right now, I would have already done it, because it's extremely frustrating when someone wants to say that they're a Christian and then say that this child in the womb, who's made in his image, who is vulnerable, should be allowed to be killed for the selfish whims. And as we saw earlier, the young woman that we had a lovely conversation with, I don't know if you heard it, who actually, thankfully, said the real thing that no one ever wants to say in an abortion discussion, was that it comes down to her selfish desire of putting her over someone else.
Absolutely. It does come down to that. And as a Christian, that's why I said I wouldn't allow it. I wouldn't do it. But if another person...
If you're not joining me in the pro-life movement to end the violence of abortion, you're allowing abortion.
It's an infringement on other people's rights and liberties. We should encourage them with love not to do it. We shouldn't force them not to abide.
I don't know if you know much about me and my organization. We actually have a whole other organization called Standing With You, which encourages women to choose.
That's different. That's entirely different. More than 3,000
resources at any day, any time of the day, she can go or he can go to get support and get connected to loving alternatives, non-violent alternative community. Because we know when it comes to ending abortion, it's cultural and it's political, and the two things go hand in hand. Because would you agree, surely, you agree with me, that ending slavery in our country was a cultural problem? We had to inform people that Black Americans, Black people, they weren't even considered fully Americans at that moment. Black people were human beings that had the equal right to life and liberty and pursuit of happiness. And we also had to change laws. You would agree with me that we needed both, right? You would agree that we should have said, no, slavery should be legal whenever, wherever. Let's work to change culture, but let's leave it legal.
An understanding of the historical context demonstrates that slavery was more of an economic issue, which was turned into a cultural issue by the people who wanted to maintain the source of resources and money.
So
I wouldn't use that as an argument.
The anti-slaverists, John Quincy Adams, Thaddeus Stevens, all the guys in Congress who are advocating for abolition and the passage of anti-slavery laws, were they wrong because they were spending time fighting to ban slavery?
No, absolutely not.
So
but
you
I feel
agree,
like they're different.
Laws banning slavery is good.
I feel like they're different things. I feel like there shouldn't have ever been a point where we needed laws to ban slavery.
Well, no, we shouldn't have, but human beings sometimes need to be restrained in some of their evil impulses.
We chose that was the...
It's alarming how many young people today are heavily influenced by media outlets. It's very shocking, ladies and gentlemen. Social media platforms and ideologies that often promote a one-sided narrative. How sad is that? Rather than encouraging independent thought, these sources frequently present a narrow, filtered version of reality. And ultimately, many kids are observing these messages without questioning their accuracy or even motives. How sad.
Only way.
Abortion is fundamentally anti-American because it deprives another member of our species of their right to life. And it says, my right to liberty to do what the hell I want to do with my body supersedes another person's right to life because of their size, because of their location, because of their age. That is discrimination. And as a Christian, I would hope you would agree with me that when there are weak and marginalized human beings, members of our species, who we know as Christians, you and I, were made in God's image, we have a moral obligation to do everything we can to speak out for them. And we know laws save lives, my friend, because a report just came out over Thanksgiving that said 32,000 babies have been born in America. That we know. We don't have a national abortion reporting law. I actually think the number is way lower than it really is, but this is all we have because Planned Parenthood won't allow us a national abortion reporting law. But we know of 32,000 babies that have been born in America since Roe versus Wade fell. So we know laws save lives. As a Christian, and as you as a Christian, we know truth, we know it's alive, we know it's living, we know this is a human being made in God's image. So aren't we morally compelled to fight for that truth and protect those innocent, vulnerable people?
I would never advocate for an abortion, but I will never prevent someone from doing so if they believe that their God,
I will never advocate
their
for
laws,
slavery, but I will never prevent someone from
their
owning
God,
a slave.
their laws.
What's wrong with that
so.
statement? I will never advocate for slavery, but I will never stop someone from owning a slave. What is wrong with that statement?
Because this is the thing. What does the slave believe? What does the baby believe? Right? Because when you're like, there would be nothing wrong if that person believed that they deserved to be a slave. You know,
John,
like
how do
you
feel
can't
about
ask
that?
the baby what the baby believes. The baby has no morality. You have no respect for the students that are here that are just trying to talk. I really just want to get this idea across.
Oh, I've been
and
listening
we've answered
to you talk. I'm astounded by the things that you've said.
But it's the respect.
Astounded.
It's the sense of respect.
Oh, I'm respecting you because I'm allowing you to continue to talk.
We have the right to talk. This is what I'm saying. We have the right.
This is my event. I'm delaying my podcast to listen to you talk.
I appreciate it.
But I also have the right to be completely astounded at the things that are coming out of your mouth.
I genuinely appreciate it. But the whole point isn't about laughing at the words. It's not about just trying to see where I'm wrong.
Human rights.
Maybe it's human rights to us, to you and me as Americans in UF who had the pleasure to be in like a college and an educated world. Right. But then
we in America
none of my parents are American. None of my parents are from America. My father was raised on an island in the middle of nowhere.
But you're in America. I'm talking about American pro-life laws.
Right. They live in America now.
When you live in America, you agree to certain like cultural, societal principles, right?
Absolutely.
And you understand the Declaration of Independence and how our founding fathers protested the injustice of the English,
the Constitution guarantees us the right to be our own people, though. The people from the island that my dad was on that had no internet, my dad had never seen a computer till he came to the U.S., right? They didn't even have medicine. For them, when they came here and they see all this stuff, like they have like access to surgeons.
We have an amazing, awesome country.
You know, yeah, it's incredible, and we have the ability to make those choices now. You know, but back then in that country, those cultures, abortion might have been a completely different thing. I'm actually going to talk to him about that tonight. Because it could have been a completely different thing for him, a completely different idea.
Would abortion been moral on that island nation?
Maybe it was, because they didn't have the access to that information. They didn't have the access to science to know that it's okay. And they come here and maybe they learn more, but America guarantees you that, like, America's based off of immigrants. It's based off of people from different countries coming here, acclimating, getting used to our laws and our customs, but their laws and their customs as well. You know,
yeah, but,
and
but we're allowed
they
to have laws
guarantee you.
protecting human rights in our country.
Right.
That's what we do in the pro-life movement.
Right.
We're advocating for laws and cultural and societal changes that advocate and protect human rights.
But
there's nothing more American than what I'm doing.
But what about those people who are coming to this country and they don't think that that is a human life yet, and that's their morals?
Well,
that's
we know it's a human life.
But
science tells it's human life.
They have
I don't
no
care
access
if
to
they
science.
don't think it's a human life. Science is definitive. It's a human life. And I'm sorry, if you come to our country as immigrant, welcome. I'm from immigrants as well. But when you come to our country, we agree on certain societal principles. One of them is that human life should be protected. We all generally agree innocent human life should be protected. That's one of the things, right? It's called assimilation into the culture. What is wrong with fighting to protect human life in America?
There is nothing wrong with fighting to protect it, but
you called me unchristian several times because I'm fighting to ban abortion. How am I unchristian?
It's because you're fighting to ban it. You're fighting to just straight up prohibit it. We should just be encouraging people with love. We're not supposed to be tyrannic forces. And that's the thing. When you make it a politics thing, you make it a fight for oppression for a lot of people. A lot of people are gonna believe that oh, now it's a women's rights thing. Now it's this, and that. But when you're pushing a social, like your other organization, which is a social based, and it's based upon just outreach and helping people, that's a completely different approach. That is what I would consider the Christian approach to it. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm so glad that half of what I do applies to your Christian ethics. I would be very, very glad about that.
Yeah, there's a variety of Christian ethics. Ever since 1492, there's been a variety of them. But it doesn't matter.
I think your theology is pretty whacked out, my friend.
I think
that you can't say that slavery is wrong.
The Bible condones it. The Bible does condone it.
You can't say slavery is wrong in 2023 America.
The Bible condones it. I can say in 2023 America, slavery is wrong. I can't say in another country.
You just like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I wouldn't advocate
in America.
I'm not advocating for slavery, but I would allow you to have the right to say you were a slave in our person. And you would not say that what I just said was wrong.
In America, that's the conventions that we've agreed upon. And that's what I believe.
In America, we have conventions.
I'm talking about other places. There are other groups of people who might not think so. And that's fine. I have a class to get to. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate you talking to me and giving me different ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Sorry you think I'm a shitty Christian.
Jesus serves is the ultimate truth of love. Through his sacrifice on the cross, Jesus offers the gift of salvation to anyone who believes him. This is the greatest demonstration of love that anyone can experience. Yes, it is. The love of a Savior who gave his life so that we could have eternal life with God. Yeah, think about it. It's through Jesus that people can come to understand that true love is, and because he is the embodiment of perfect love. Jesus is the embodiment of perfect love. He loves us in our brokenness. He speaks the truth in our rebellion, and he offers us the chance for redemption through his grace. Wow, how beautiful is that? So beautiful. In summary, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ is an incredibly worthwhile mission. It brings about transformation, fosters love, justice, hope, truth, and fulfills God's command. It grants eternal significance, ladies and gentlemen, and deep joy to those who embrace it. Ultimately, it's the greatest gift we can offer. You see, bringing lasting change to individuals and communities alike, and reflecting God's love and purpose for the world. So, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the next one, and don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.